let's talk about Android TV. Now, Greg, you've had some experience with this, so we're going to rely on you to be the subject matter expert here. Tell us about Android TV and your experience with it.
I actually didn't even know what it was. I just happened to stumble across the developer link saying Google was going to send out some devices that you hook up to your television. So I signed up, and without notice, I got one for free in the mail like months later. So I wrote a little blog post about it. It's on gpanimationsblog.com, and here you can see what the device looks like. It looks a lot like the Amazon Fire TV or an Apple TV. They're all pretty much the same with the little game controller. And shortly after that, I hooked it up and I was able to port one of my games to it, but I couldn't get it to actually show up in the Google Play Store under the Android TV Game Store. And then around Christmas Eve, Corona released a new daily build, and it actually supports Android TV now, so I was able to get it on the Play Store under Android TV.
Sweet.
Excellent.
And what did you publish? I mean, you said you already have a game ready to go, so what was?
It was the Maddie Bear Snack Time, which started out as an iPhone app, and then I moved over to Fire TV thanks to Ed, because he wrote a little snippet of code that let me capture all the button controller codes. So I just kind of altered Ed's coding to match the Fire TV game controller.
So you said you had the iPhone version first, and then you added in the controller inputs. Was that a big deal? Was adding controllers?
It was a little difficult because I couldn't find any good documentation on it. Everyone I could find wasn't correct for the game controller that I received. So just through enough Google searching, I was able to find it, and I was able to edit Ed's code here, where I found the key codes. And this is just his rgeasyftv.lua file that he gave out in the previous show.
Okay, so you had to just go in and modify the codes because they were specific to the controller for Android TV.
Yeah, it should be noted that when I got the developer's kit, it's not even called Android TV, it was just like the ADT1 developer kit. They don't actually give you the little remote control, they just give you a game controller. And the remote control, I guess, has like a microphone button, and that's how you do all your searching through the TV. And it also has different key codes, so I have no idea what those codes are. So right now my game's not compatible with just a regular remote control. It just only works with the game controller.
Okay, so somebody would have to have the game controller. So do you have any plans to support the regular control, I guess the default controller?
I guess I'd have to either just find the codes or buy one, and I really have no ambition to buy a controller, to be honest, because I only use this to play Sega Genesis emulators, so
gotcha.
I don't use it.
So it's less of a technical issue and more of a just a logistical getting the controller sort of thing.
Yeah.
I wonder what, do you know what that controller looks like? I wonder what the buttons would even be like. I mean, if you would just be like press a button to get the character to jump, and then you need a left and a right, right?
I assume it probably just looks like the Fire TV stock controller, since this looks pretty much exactly like that Fire TV controller as well.
Yeah, I think the hand controller, the game controller, is a more natural input, though. I mean, I can imagine playing a video game with my remote control.
Yeah.
Seems a little weird.
Yeah, it would be a little kludgy.
Yeah. Okay, so controller inputs, and then what else? So, I mean, what was the Corona piece that was missing?
Okay, so in the daily build, starting I guess on the 24th of December, and now you can add supports television. So in build.settings under Android, you could put supports TV equals true, and if it's a game, just put is game equals true. And that's all you really need for the build settings portion to get it to show up as an Android, I guess Android TV game.
So I wonder what the difference would be between is game and not is game. I mean,
I think that just means it's like a music app or a utility app.
I mean, did you guys watch the trailer or the Google I/O video that I put in with the Hangout? it basically it was from Google I/O and the developers, the Android TV developers were up there kind of demoing the features of it, and they didn't really go too deep into the use case for like apps and stuff like that, but they did talk about their vision for TV itself and how they were standardizing menus and how they had provided this API for content publishers to be able to tap into. So if you're a Netflix or you don't have to be a big name publisher, but if you were one of these publishers, you could customize how thumbnails showed up and how the header image and stuff showed up for your particular series or whatever. So I thought that was interesting, and they also talked about the unification of channels. So today you have kind of like the satellite over the air antenna, and then you have internet. So you have these different inputs, and they said essentially that you shouldn't even need to be concerned as a consumer about inputs, and so they came up with this thing called a universal input, and so essentially when you go to the menu as a consumer to operate the television, then it would just figure out what input it needs to switch over to. That way you don't have to go to like today I had to go to HDMI 1 for Apple TV or HDMI 2 for Xbox 360 or whatever. With Android TV, it would just kind of figure it out, and you wouldn't even have to worry about it. So I wonder, supports TV versus is game equals true. I wonder if that would. I wonder if that plays into that, and what kind of apps we could create that would be kind of content apps as opposed to just game apps.
I know the Amazon Fire TV, if you just press a button on the game controller or remote control, it actually will turn on your TV and switch it to HDMI, whatever it's on, automatically for you, which I wish everything else in the world did that.
Right.
Yeah, mine turns on whenever I turn on like my set-top box or my Blu-ray player or whatever, and switches channels.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I mean, there's a certain point where you're just like, there's no value, right? I mean, initially, yes, the standards haven't been set, and you don't, the back of the TV today is hugely different than it was 10 years ago. But now we're kind of at that point where like, okay, the consumer doesn't care about the inputs anymore. They just want to hook it all to the TV and then go. Which I think is interesting for game controllers and boxes, because again, we're going to see Android TV, Apple TV. I'm assuming eventually they will come out with a TV SDK or something where you can develop apps. I mean, that's not open right now, but I'm assuming it's got to be because everybody's wanting the car, the home, the tablet, the computer. So
the Tesla.
Yeah.
You know what I'm talking about, right? That big screen in the Tesla?
Yeah, it's huge. It's great.
Yeah, I got one. Yeah, right.
Yeah. Well, I've seen them.
Hey, I had a question for Greg.
Yeah.
Greg, when you did the build for Amazon, did you use a target app setting? I.e., when you go to do the Android build, you can choose Amazon, GameStick, Google Play, Nook, Ouya, and none? Or did you just use a generic build?
I do not remember. I was actually thinking about this because Stinky Kitties was talking about this on Twitter. They were having problems, and I actually did receive an email from Amazon when that Fire Stick came out, saying that my build settings or something weren't set up for the Fire Stick, and I'd have to go in. But here's my Fire TV build settings. It doesn't look like I have anything special in there.
I'm talking about when you're in the simulator and you go through the build step.
Okay.
Yeah, I would bring mine up. Let me just bring up my whole screen so I can show you what I'm talking about here.
So, Greg, what you're saying then is that you have to resubmit your app to support Fire Stick? Is that what we're saying?
Oh, great. Here, I did the wrong
Yeah,
thing.
they were saying that doesn't work or isn't compatible, or I'd have to do something with it, and I just ran out of time and got busy, so I never got to actually look into what they were talking about.
How have your downloads been on those platforms, or have you had enough time to see any kind of trends?
The Fire TV sells a few units a day usually, surprisingly. And I think that's just because they were giving out those free coins for a while. If at the time, if you could support Game Circle when you uploaded the Fire TV apps, when the Fire TV first debuted, they would give you like 50,000 coins to give out to customers to kind of lure them in. And then if someone bought your app, you could reward them with like 70 coins, and then they could use that to buy more apps. So I think a lot of people are just sitting on a stack of free coins, so they're really just making sales.
That's how
But
I
that,
roll too. Use
but
the
that,
free coins.
but that translates into actual dollars for you, though, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Now
that's
for
what.
Google
That's all.
Play, I haven't sold any of these, and I actually made this free. I don't know, it's still showing 99 cents because I just wanted this to be like a app that people could download and see how it was made in Corona. So I don't know why it's still showing 99 cents, but it should be free.
Huh.
Okay.
My question for you, Greg, can you see my screen?
Let's see. Yeah.
Okay, so what I'm doing here is when I do the build, you can choose the target app store. Mine is always set to Google Play because that's where I publish all my Android stuff. But your choices are Amazon, GameStick, Google Play, Nook, Ouya, and then none. Sort of like a generic build. So did you choose Amazon here?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So I don't know what they would do. I can't remember. It's been a long time since I submitted an app to Amazon, and I can't remember what they do if you don't set that. If they even notice.
Yeah, I think I just chose Amazon because it made sense. I don't actually know what any of that does. I don't know what
Yeah,
I'm doing.
kind of wish. Well, yeah, of course, we can go back to the video where Sergey showed us the utility for dumping out the contents of the manifest. We could see what's in there, but between the do two different builds and check out the differences between the manifests. But anyways,
Right.
okay. So I was just curious about that.
Which is a good point, though. I mean, just probably has more to do with the manifest than anything else. I've never actually asked. I'm just like you guys. I'm just like, oh, okay, it's going to Amazon, and then do the Amazon.
Yeah, it makes sense. So it probably works, right?
Right. Yeah, but I'm sure there's a more technically satisfying answer than that. So.
Just
Oh
one of
yeah.
those little things where people who aren't used to the process could just skip right over it. Just click OK, click build. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Right.
not working. Oh, it's because you didn't choose Amazon. Oh, I didn't see that. I waited a week. Well,
No.
whatever you wait with Amazon.
Right. Okay. So controller inputs. You said you had to do a Google search to find the controller codes that were specific to that controller. Then you needed the build settings in Corona. Well, actually, I guess the official support with the build settings in Corona. And then that was it. I mean, you just submitted from there. It was just a straight submit like normal.
The only other thing besides that is you need to make a little icon called banner-xhdpi, which is 320 by 180. Because when you go to make your store listing on Google Play here, it'll ask for a TV banner for 320 by 180, so you could upload it right there. And also for TV, so if it gets into their little featured TV app store, you'll have a little screenshot so people know how it will kind of look on their television screen.
Okay. And have you experimented with, I don't know how to say this, like getting jiggy with the banner? Like you say, like when it shows up on the TVs, does it show up differently than like say on the tablet? I mean, could you make it like some sort of?
Well, here's the thing that's not great about not having that remote control that comes standard, I guess, that you can with the microphone. That's how you do all your searching. So if I just checked my Android TV and this app isn't listed under like the featured apps, and I can't actually get on there and search for my app because I don't have the little microphone button.
Okay, we're gonna have to get you a microphone button
That's a little retarded.
controller because
Well,
Bad
if you
design.
have a
because inquiring
If you have
minds
an
want to know.
Android device, you can, I guess, you know how you can use your iPhone to control your Apple TV with the remote app? I guess there's something for Android. I don't know. I just have like an ancient Android device. You have to use your Android device's keyboard to type. You just can't like bring up an on-screen keyboard on the TV and type it in with your controller.
Wait, you can control your Apple TV with your iPhone? I didn't know
You
that.
didn't know that? No.
I knew
Yeah.
I knew you could do AirPlay.
Seems kind of
Yeah,
obvious now that you think about it, though, right?
It's just called remote.
Kind of like the same remote that you use for Keynote. That remote, like the Apple remote app.
I don't know. It just says remote on my screen. It says Apple TV, my iTunes library, and my wife's iTunes library, and I could just navigate through and put stuff on the Apple TV.
Hey, Greg.
Oh, I see it.
Yeah.
It's a different app. There's a Keynote remote, and then there's a remote. There's just Apple remote. Okay. Oh.
Do you have the config file available for the game? Can we look at that?
For the Android TV here?
Yeah. Okay, so I see what you did there. So you chose to use zoom stretch so that it would fill out the whole screen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you know if Amazon's? I think Amazon's got a deal where they don't like to see any black borders.
You mean like
Yeah, I
top
don't
and
think I
bottom?
have any. Yeah, I don't think I have any on mine.
If you use letterbox and then you don't fill in the borders with something, if it's just black.
Yeah, because even on my Fire TV one for Amazon, I have zoom stretch as well.
Yeah. Right, just a sec.
Okay. So apart from the banner, was there any other gotchas or anything else that we should know?
No, that's it. Really, just go in, build settings, add supports TV equals true. If it's a game, put is game is true. Make sure it works with a controller versus touchscreen using the game codes, and upload the banners. That's it.
And did you say on Amazon you said you had a couple of sales a day on? But have you seen any kind of, since this has been up on Android TV, have you seen any kind of activity there?
I have seen no activity whatsoever on any of my Google apps for like a year. Whereas like iOS, Amazon, I see like at least one sale a day. Google, I barely see anything going on there.
Interesting.
Yeah, and that goes along with what the reports are saying from Christmas, and and I think that's generally most of the developers' experiences. We make the majority of the money still from Apple, and Amazon is right behind Apple, and then Google Play is a very, very, very distant 10th place out of 3.
It's kind of weird though, because I know some people are making real money on Google Play. I just don't know how they do it.
Yeah, I'm not sure how they're making money off Google Play, because I'm just not seeing even book sales or for app downloads. I'm just not seeing the same volume that I see through Amazon and Apple.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say I have a theory about that, which is there's no scientific evidence backing my theory,
Okay.
but I think it's because iOS devices, they're a little costly, like especially like if you want to get like the Mac computers. So already those customers are used to like paying a decent amount of money for something nice, and Amazon customers are used to just already doing the e-commerce shopping, whereas everything Google offers is free. You don't pay for Gmail, you don't pay for Google Maps, you don't pay for anything Google related unless it's like an upgrade to your Drive account. So already those customers are like, well, all this stuff I could probably find somewhere else for free, or on another app and get that for free. Whereas Apple customers, they're just like, well, I got this nice iPhone, I might as well just fill it with good apps, and they're willing to pay a little bit more.
Right. The other thing is the iPhone is much more of a secure environment, so those people who are tending to not pay in the first place are going to have more hurdles to jump over to steal content.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, well, it's going to be. You're absolutely right. It's going to be a lot harder. There's a book out there. I'm trying to find it here in my list of books. But there's one about the history of free or the psychology of free. I'll have to find it. But basically, the guy talks about this idea that it's harder to go from zero to something than it is to go from something to something greater. So going from zero to a penny is like this chasm that you have to jump. Whereas if somebody's already paid, a penny or a dollar or whatever, then they're more inclined to either repeat the behavior or buy something incrementally larger. So yeah, I think if you're already in that ecosystem, you're already accustomed to paying for something, then it's not that big a deal to buy apps. Whereas if, like Greg was saying, if everything is already free, right? If you're going to Google for free everything, then your expectation is probably not going to be that you're going to pay for anything. So Ed, I would be interested to know, how the other developers are making money off of it, and if it's just a numbers game. Is it just sheer volume? Are they doing some sort of marketing push and getting, stuffing enough people through the funnel that they eventually make money off of some of them?
Right. And where is their money coming from? Is it purchases? Is it in-app? Is it advertising?
Yeah. Right. Exactly. So, because I definitely know that it's easier to get apps onto Google, so it's more attractive in that respect to the developers. But you needed to kind of pay the bills. So, and Greg, I absolutely agree. I think Amazon. I mean, that's what Amazon's been banking on this entire time, right? Is that they already have your information. You can do the one-tap buy. They just make it effortless. And you're already accustomed to paying for things through Amazon. Again, psychologically, they already that they're going to deliver on the promise of sending or giving you something. So interesting.
And I'd like to thank Ed again, because without Ed's coding for the Easy Fire TV Lua file, like, I wouldn't be able to put anything on the Fire TV or the Android TV. So it's really all his genius that made this possible.
Insert clapping sound here.
You're more than welcome, sir. Although I have to say that part of this year's work will be to release a much cleaner and easier to use variant of what you've got there, so there'll be no searching for codes anymore. So, because if I had done it properly, thank you very much for saying that, but if I had done it properly, you would have not been faced with the question of what's the code for this key. So,
would it be like a universal remote where it figures out what the codes are itself?
It's already in there, actually. Android already has universal names for these keys. You just have to choose a key that maps to one that's on the device, and as long as the manufacturer has used, like, for example, right button, they have a right button on their controller, as long as they've used the standard key name, it should work. But it's kind of tricky because there's the numeric codes, and then there are some other codes that go with these key inputs, and then there is a mapping code or name that goes with them too. Anyways, I'm making this completely confusing.
That's okay. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to link to Greg's blog post. Greg, does that blog post have the link to the Google search or the controller codes that you came up with?
It does not, but I can put something up there and send it to you.
Okay. Or yeah, if you just want to put that in the comments of your blog post, then we'll just
I can look for it too.
We'll just link there, and then we'll also add a link to Ed's controller inputs library, and yeah, so we'll do all that. We'll put that in the show notes. That way, everybody can go and kind of grab the different pieces and publish their apps wherever they want. All right. Anything else? Are we done there?
I think so. There's really not too much to it. Just steal Ed's code and claim all the glory like I did.
Perfect. Excellent.
Step 1, steal codes. Step 2, claim glory. Got it.
Congratulations on that maneuver.
Well, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. That's I know that was something that we were trying to work out for a while, and now I'm glad it's all come together.